Hello, and welcome to today's video, educational video. I'm going to talk about the margin call and what it is and how to avoid it, basically, and how it's calculated. So, before we dive in, welcome to the systematic trading education videos. And I want to give a short disclaimer. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Check with your own broker and do your own due diligence before you apply the knowledge that I'm providing. Okay? Now, what is margin? Well, broker gives you ability to purchase whatever you're purchasing. The stock, the forex, the cryptocurrency, the futures, whatever options, whatever it is. And for each one of them, they require you to put up a certain amount of cash. This amount of cash, that's what the broker considers to be a margin requirement for purchasing whatever you're purchasing. Since I'm working with a lot with stocks, I'll be talking about stocks. Okay, so it's easier just to relate, but beware that the same exact calculations can be done for anything. So either futures, either options, either forex, and that is why when people say, "Oh, the forex sometimes require you to have 100-to-1 ratio," well, that's what they're referring to. That meaning that you need to have at least to put up $1 to purchase 100 worth of currency. In our case, again, I will be talking about the stocks. So beware that it just can be applied to anything else, not just the stocks. Okay. So now the amount of cash varies from each stock to stock and varies from the instrument to the instrument. So now, types of margins. There's an initial margin requirement, meaning that how much cash do I need to put up to just open my position during the day. And then there is the maintenance requirement, which is how much money do I have to have allocated basically for that position to be able to keep that position overnight. And by position, what I mean is that, let's say I decided to purchase 100 shares of Apple and stock Apple. And my broker says, well, you need to have at least 16.5% initial margin. Okay, so it needs, as an example, I need to have at least, and let's say Apple right now, it's not important how much it is right now, but imagine for the sake of the argument, it's the $100 per share and 100 shares, which is $10,000 that I need to purchase worth of shares of the Apple. 16.5% means that, well, I need to have only $1,650 to put up as my margin requirement. But overnight, they say, oh, we can have 12%, which means that overnight, I can actually have at least $1,200 in my account. Well, have this much money in my account to keep it overnight. So basically, it's just a way for a broker to figure out that how much money you need to put up to purchase the position and to keep that position overnight. It's in simplistic terms. There's more complexity to it if you need to know, but that's in simplistic terms. Now, there is a long margin requirement and short margin requirement. So sometimes stocks, when they were really risky, as an example, like a GameStop back in 2021 when there was a meme stock, then on the long side, you could, let's say, put up only 100% margin, which means that you need to purchase, you cannot borrow anything from the broker, so you just have to have as much money as you are purchasing the position, the value of the position. But at that time, when it was the crazy stuff happening with GameStop, the brokers were requiring, let's say, 300% margin requirements, which means that for every dollar of the position, I have to have $3 in my account. So not only I cannot borrow anything from a broker, broker required me to have more money in to borrow anything. And that was because the GameStop was so risky considered, so that they require you to have more money to put up to compensate for the risk. Because if you fail, then the broker is on a hook to collect the money from you. And if you cannot collect the money from you because you went bankrupt, obviously broker is out of the money. So that they control their risk by controlling the margin requirement with each and every instrument. So that is why each and every stock has its own margin requirements assigned per broker, and usually, typically, large and mega large cap stocks, they consider to be safer, so they have more margin available, versus some small micro cap stocks or even nano cap stocks, God forbid, they're considered to be riskier, so they have less margin available. So let me give you an example. So this is Eli Lilly, which is considered to be large cap stocks, actually mega large. If you look to the right, it says market capitalization of $708 billion, right? So it's a pretty large capitalization stock. And because of this, the margin requirements, initial and maintenance, are 16.5 and 15%. That's what I explained to you, that overnight you can actually keep a little bit better versus opening it up. But when they open it up, broker gives you additional things. They give you additional break for opening the position during the day, because they allow you to get more margin if you want to during the day, but then overnight usually it's not as good. So anyway, so for this particular discussion, let's pay attention to the maintenance margin, overnight maintenance margin. Okay, now here's Tesla. Okay, it's mega large cap stock, right? It's 1.2 something trillion dollars capitalization. It's very big, but because it's on the news right now, because Elon Musk, and because of all these things that are happening, that considered to be riskier, right? And because riskier, broker, and I'm using the Interactive Brokers for this stuff, as of January 14th, these are my margin requirements for the initial long side and the initial short side, and maintenance long and maintenance short. As you can see, it's much higher than Eli Lilly. But I found in my portfolio a stock which is the small cap stock. I mean, look at this. It's a 508 million only market capitalization. So it's a small cap stock, and because of this, they consider to be more riskier. And as it's more riskier stock, and especially if you look at all the other fundamentals, it's kind of like a negative stock. So it may be going down for some reason, but it doesn't matter for this stuff. What I'm looking at is that, my margin requirements is 100%, which means that I have to have as much cash as this stocks personally requires you to have to purchase the position of it. So, and over here they even have, for some reason, for short side, the 110 to put up at the beginning, but then overnight is still 100%. So that's an example of a riskier stock or small cap stock. Typically that happens to the below $5 stocks. They are considered to be riskier in general, plus the capitalization, again, smaller capitalization. Or if it's a low float stock, means that there are not enough shares out there, outstanding shares. So usually that can cause the broker to raise your margin requirements. Okay. Now, what happens is that you have all of your positions, and then the broker says, okay, you have Apple, you have Eli Lilly, you have Tesla, you have this small cap stock. They combine all these margin requirements together to create your portfolio margin. And that's what broker uses to figure out if you're approaching margin call or not. They take your net liquidity value, which is basically a value of all the positions combined. If you sell it right this moment and you close all your positions, you only have cash left. At this point, that's your net liquidity. So you may actually borrow right now some money from brokers, so you have exposure of almost 200%. That doesn't matter. What matters is how much it will be your account if you sell everything right now at once, considering that you even got the price that you're getting right now. Not even slippage included, just whatever the price is. So that's what your broker says. That's my net liquidity value. And each and every position, remember, has the margin assigned to it. And we take this initial position, they combine it together, and they arrive at the maintenance value. Now, here's what your margin call is. If your net maintenance value is exceeding the net liquidity, you are going to get the margin call. No doubt about it. There's no broker on the planet who will not give you the margin call. So be aware of that. So because of this, check with your brokers how they're warning you. Like Interactive Brokers as an example, they start warning you as soon as you approach 20% and 10% first. And then once you exceed what they do, they start liquidating your positions by liquidating your best positions and then liquidating last your worst positions. So that is why you really don't want to get into the margin call, because not only it's unpleasant to get this idea that you have to put up money to bring up your maintenance margin value up to be above the net liquidity. But also, you're kind of throwing good money after bad money. And on top of it, they really close your best performing position, something you were holding for a long time, as an example. And whatever the trash you got in lately will be closed last. So you want to be in control of it yourself. So don't wait for the margin call to be called on you. So in conclusion, should you be afraid of margin call? Absolutely. It's not pleasant. It's not good to have. So you really need to watch out for it. Should you be watching out for which stocks you're purchasing? Absolutely. Again, you need to know which universe of stocks you're working with. Because as I said, you can actually have stocks which seemingly look okay, but then the margin requirements can be jacked up so much that you will get the margin call just because you think that you have enough money on your account. Maybe you don't. Okay, so what to check on your account? Check your net liquidity value versus your maintenance value. Okay, that's to check. As soon as you get closer to be within 10 to 20%, beware, you may get the margin call. So can it be avoided? Of course it can be avoided. As I said, just watch for that value and make sure that don't overexpose yourself. And check with your current broker whatever the margin requirements are for each and every stock that you're purchasing. Obviously, if you're doing something automated, just beware which universe of stocks you're working with. So you would need to know how much exposure you give to a certain type of stocks. Okay, so thank you again for this video. I'm gonna make it shorter than it's a longer video than usual. I hope it is useful information. In case you have questions, just write it to info@tradingsystems.com. And in case you have more things to check out, just go to our tradingsystem.com. You can get these are the links to the books over there as well, to what we wrote, Lawrence and I. And you can also check some free course over there, some additional information about systematic trading. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So leave thumbs up, or not thumbs up, but whatever it is on the YouTube, and subscribe if you didn't, and turn on the notification. Okay, and see you next time.